Hello, Dallas. It's time to wake up and get wealthy. I'm Terri Arends, the Group Fitness and Wellness Director with the Arends Family JCC. And I am here today with Lizzie Devitt, who is a nutritional health coach with Natural Grocers. And we today on this segment are going to talk about ways for kids to hydrate. Also, that includes adult hydration. And also, we're going to get smarter when we're looking at kids' nutrition. So, Lizzie, thank you so much for coming on the segment today. I really appreciate it. And just so our viewers, because a lot of our viewers are with the JCC Facebook group, so if you'd like to just share a little bit about yourself so our viewers will, get to kind of know you a little better.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you all for watching. So like Terri said, my name is Lizzie Devitt. I am a nutritional health coach with Natural Grocers. I received my master's in the spring of 2020 when, I like to say, when the world was falling apart. And I had to go and get a job. And I found the position at Natural Grocers and felt like it was a great fit and a good opportunity. So I applied and I got it. But my journey with like health and wellness kind of began before that. Basically, right after undergrad, I started diving more into what's health outside of just exercising really well. Like, what does the role of nutrition play in all of that, And I had a job at a chiropractor's office, and that's really where I first learned kind of the beauty and the benefit of like focusing your health holistically instead of thinking about them in different terms. And so in all my years of formal nutrition education, food was really just kind of taught as like this fuel for the body. And it is that, but it's also so much more than that. So that's what I really love about just nutrition and the field of wellness in general.
Nice. Well, again, thanks so much for being here today. And, as we move into, it is summer, it is hot, it's like 3-digit temperature weather here in Dallas. And hydration is such a key, not only for, adults, but also for kids who are, out there in the sun, they're playing, they're at camps, like here at the JCC camp. They have the luxury of being indoors, but they also go outdoors and they're at their outdoor pool. So do you have some tips for our parents on summer hydration for kids?
Yeah. So the first thing, the easiest thing is to always make it visible. So make sure that children have water, they have the water in front of them, they have it available or within reach for them. That's really the biggest thing, because a lot of times with kids, like they're not as great at recognizing if they're dehydrated as like adults tend to be. So if your kid is mentioning like, they're thirsty, or even if they're not saying they're thirsty, but they're feeling tired, maybe they have a headache, even constipation, dark urine, those are signs of dehydration in children. So making sure that the water is there within reach and encouraging them to drink the water too. Now, the big question is, what if my kid doesn't like water, right?
I was just going to ask that question. Like, how do you make it fun for kids to drink water if they really are like, they think they're a camel, basically?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, when you think about all the other drinks that are on the market, water is kind of boring, not a lot of flavor. It's just there. It's great for us, but kids don't always care about that. So some super easy ways to make water delicious or enticing to your children, and even to adults too. One of the easiest ways is just by slicing up some fruit and adding it to the water. So you can either have a big pitcher where you throw different kinds of fruits in and have water in there so that the fruit is kind of able to mingle and the flavors enhance the water. To get kids excited about this, the best thing is to get them involved, right? Kids like to be able to make choices and have a say in like what they're going to do and what they're going to eat and drink, right? So giving them the decision of what kind of fruit do they want to add into their water. That can make it really fun for them and also for the whole family. And since it's so hot, like you said, another super easy way to make your water cold and taste better is adding those fruit slices or chopped up pieces of fruit to an ice cube tray and making like fruit ice cubes.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds like fun. I
Yeah.
think I would like that. I
Yeah,
think
me
you tried that too. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, is too much water, can a child overhydrate? Can there be too much consumption of water?
Yeah, that's a great question. And with everything, too much is a bad thing. So yes, with water, we can get too much. Typically, people will say, well, just drink when you're thirsty. But I will say, by the time we kind of have a thirst cue or something like that, we are typically on the dehydrated side of the spectrum already. So it's just key to make sure that we are drinking. Typically, a good amount of water is about half your body weight in ounces. So if you were 100 pounds, you would aim for 50 ounces of water a day. Things that can kind of influence how much water you need, like you might need more than that half your body weight, would be like if you're outside sweating a lot in the heat. If you just sweat a lot in general, if you're exercising, those types of things.
Okay, so if I packed a couple pieces of watermelon in their lunch kit, and then also made sure that I was packing lots of fun water and options out there, some of the new ideas that you just shared with us, with the watermelon and the water, could that be considered too much?
I would not necessarily. I mean, I think that when we drink too much water, it has to be like a large amount. Okay. So if the kid was maybe drinking 3 bottles of water in like one sitting, and the water, right? And the watermelon, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that like there's a lot of fruits out there that also have good water consumption in them, and maybe you can name some of those.
Yeah. So Terri said one, watermelon. It's in the name, watermelon, right? It's mostly water.
Yes.
A lot of fruits are going to be more juicy, right, and have more of that water content. So right now it's like peach season, nectarines, those are delicious.
Yes.
Well, I love those. Apples are a really good option too. Certain vegetables like celery, romaine, lettuce, those types of things will have a higher water content as well.
Okay, and so when we're looking at water content, and then we can move on to maybe some sort of juice, can you explain to our viewers the difference between just a natural or organic juice versus something that's just a concentrated juice product?
Yeah, so fun fact, juice that's not from concentrate versus juice that's from concentrate, there's not a huge health difference there. So they both still have the vitamins and minerals that you would find in the whole fruit. The biggest thing with juices when you are purchasing a juice is you want to look at the nutrition label and make sure that there's no added sugars to the juice. So we want to avoid those added sugars just because when we think about a fruits are already kind of high in natural sugars, right? That's why they're so sweet. And when we juice something, whether it be a fruit or a vegetable, we're kind of extracting that fiber or separating the fiber from the actual liquid. And so we're kind of just getting all those vitamins and minerals, but the sugar is a little bit more concentrated because we don't have that fiber to help with slow down the digestion process, like if we were eating the whole fruit. So when we're buying juice, we want to keep that in mind, and you can look at the label on a fruit juice and kind of scan down, and you'll see the sugar section. So there will be total sugars, and then if there's any added sugars, it'll have that indented and below the total sugar section.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that added sugars is at 0 grams, because that means they haven't added anything like cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, malt, dextrose, anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any products on hand that are, a brand out there that you recommend?
Yeah. So these would be juices that are considered from concentrate. Some of the brands that we sell at Natural Grocers are Lakewood Juice Company. They have organic juices. R.W. Nedson is another one as well. Santa Cruz is another very popular one too. If you want more of a fresh squeezed juice option that you can find in stores, a brand like Evolve is a really good option too. They just have just the squeezed fruits or vegetables in there, and they're pasteurized to keep them safe for consumption.
Great, thanks. That's really good information. I appreciate that. And you mentioned vegetables. So as far as like with kids' nutrition and vegetables, myself growing up, hated vegetables, really hated vegetables. And just like with the water, do you have any fun recipes for vegetables so that kids will not hate vegetables like I did growing up?
Yes. I think we all hate vegetables.
Oh, good. I thought it was just me. I thought it was just myself.
I remember sitting like at the dinner table.
Yeah, like scoop them over the side of the plate.
I ate them if I make them look smaller.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yes, getting kids and sometimes even adults to eat vegetables still can be hard.
Yeah.
So,
maybe some tricks for both.
Yeah.
For everyone.
The thing with kids and children is anytime you can make something fun, they're going to be more excited about it, right? So if you're thinking about if you want your kids to eat more vegetables, having them as snacks, making the snacks quick, easy, and fun. So one of my favorite snacks as a kid, and I'll even still sometimes pack it today in like my lunches, are called ants on a log. But it's a celery stick, and you can put nut butter in the little groove, and then some dried raisins, so it looks like little ants climbing on a log. And I love that one, and it's delicious. You're getting fiber, vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, everything like that. Another quick one, super easy, dips. Dips are really fun. You can make your own dip. There's tons of recipes out there. You can buy a dip at the store that maybe your children like. And just having sliced up vegetables like carrot sticks are a super easy one. Sliced up bell peppers, literally anything that your kid might like. Cucumbers, cucumbers also have a high water content, so there we go.
There you go. Yeah. And so what kind of dips would you recommend? Is there like a certain type, or can it be just some type of ranch, or or is there something that's even just better for children?
Yeah, so I feel like that would be really subjective to kind of what your kids are into and enjoy,
What they like.
Yeah, so finding what they like. And the other thing with kids too is, one day they say they might not like hummus, but you try it next week or in a couple months and they like it, right? So never being afraid to reintroduce things to children either.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I like that. Thanks. So how many serves of like vegetables and fruits should a child consume a day?
Yes, that is a good question.
Or a week?
So again, it will depend on how old the child is. So typically it ranges from anywhere from maybe like 1 to 4 cups in a day or something like that. For adults, it's much more, right? At Natural Grocers, we typically just teach people when we're teaching people how to build a meal, the easiest way to think about it is making half your plate vegetables every single meal. So for adults, that might be 2 to 3 cups of a vegetable. For kids, hopefully their plate is a little bit smaller, right? So that'll look a little bit different. But by making half your plate vegetables, you're ensuring that kind of the foundation of that meal is something that's really rich in all those nutrients that the children need to help them grow. And it makes it a little bit easier instead of just like a parent measuring out, with that serving cup, which nobody wants to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That takes the fun out of it for the parents.
Exactly. And then nobody wants to eat anything.
Exactly. What about like milk? I mean, milk in those formative years. Tell us a little bit about milk and why it's so important, and give us the scoop.
So milk, dairy products have been kind of hounded on, and the importance of kind of providing vitamin D, calcium for those strong, healthy bones and muscle health, right?
Exactly.
So for kids, if you're looking serving wise, the dietary guidelines from the US government are anywhere from like 1 to 3 cups. And that's things like a glass of milk, yogurt, cheese. Those would be any type of dairy product. And Dairy does provide healthy nutrients and important things, like it is a great source of healthy fat. It has protein in it too. I know some kids are kind of iffy about meat, right? They can be really iffy about meat. So if they like dairy, you're able to give them protein that way too, outside of just plant-based options. The biggest thing with dairy, though, is it is important to think about the quality of the dairy that you are giving yourself and your family. So choosing organic or pasture-raised dairy is important because there's no added growth hormones or anything to those cattle. And so the added growth hormones really influences our health and our hormones and how our body is processing too. And by supporting organic pasture-raised dairy, you're also supporting the health of the planet and the farmers too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just support everything
Yeah,
and everyone.
support everything.
A beautiful moment.
Yeah.
For sharing that. So also when we talk about vitamin D and protein and milk, and so can a child have too much protein in their daily or weekly consumption, and how much protein should a youth, or I guess you want to break it down by age, how much should they consume?
Yeah. So with anyone, like I said earlier, too much of anything can be harmful, right? Our body requires certain nutrients at certain amounts, and that changes based on age, activity level, everything like that. So again, for kids, it will depend. They will need more protein when they're going through like a growth spurt or something like that. But typically for children, you don't necessarily have to worry about them overdosing on protein unless you're providing them with like a protein type supplement, like giving your child a protein powder along with a meal that already contains protein. There are like kid-based meal shakes or like proteins, things like that. But in that instance, it's usually best to just use that as kind of like a standalone thing, like adding it to a breakfast smoothie, or just having it as a snack.
Substitute that out as the snack, or substitute it out as, could you substitute it out as the meal?
Yes, because the biggest thing is when you think about protein powders that are on the market, a lot of the ones that are made, I would say specifically for adults, most of the time the protein in there is anywhere from 20 to 30 grams per serving. So if we were to translate that to like a child and you were giving them that type of protein supplement along with a meal that has like chicken or beans and rice or something like that in that, it would be a little bit too much protein in their system to handle, and too much protein stresses out our kidneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it is cool to just switch that out. Maybe like if you're a busy family on the run and you don't have time to prepare the lunch meal or whatever, just kind of switch it out with a smoothie on the go, or stop somewhere and grab a smoothie, and that's fine.
Yes, that would be fun.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. So when we're talking about fruits, vegetables, vitamin D, all that stuff, I know that there's also this thing, it's always been the big buzz, all about portion control. Should kids be on portion control as far as the amount, the size of, the meal, or, whatever you're dishing out for your child?
So that's a good question. So portion size, or how many calories you're eating, that is important. Typically to like adults who we've already kind of stagnated with growth and things like that, calorie portion size, that is important, because obviously if you eat too many calories that your body doesn't need, they get stored away as fat, and then that's what happens, we gain weight, right? With kids, since they are growing, they are usually very active, especially right now in the summer. Like Terry said, there's summer camps going on, like the one here at the J. They're running around, doing all that type of stuff. As far as like measuring out food like you might for yourself, you don't necessarily need to do that for a child, but you do want to pay attention to maybe kind of the portion sizes of snack foods and things like that you're giving them, because some of those more processed, like packaged foods, typically have more calories than like a vegetable or fruit option, right? And so making sure they're not snacking too hard on those and things like that.
Is there any kind of rule of thumb, or like a fist size, or just something, if I'm a busy mom and I don't have a lot of time and I really don't want to count calories.
Yeah.
So is there something kind of that you can go on as far as a quick measurement?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing with kids too is we want to teach them how to listen to their body and pay attention to that. So it's really easy for us, all of us, to just go grab a snack, right, when we're bored or something like that. So kind of teaching your child, like, yes, if they're hungry, like letting them have a snack. Maybe instead of giving them the whole box of goldfish, though, you're getting those individual boxes or the individual packets, I should say, that are already kind of pre-portioned out into a snack size and allowing them to have like one or two, not even the whole box of them, right? So that's the easiest way. Like buying things that are already pre-packaged can be really easy and make it easier for busy parents too.
Yes, so for busy parents, but if they're on more of a budget, I guess they could also take a day and just like pack everything into those sizes.
Yes, that is a great idea.
I don't know if that's cheaper, but it might be.
I feel like that is
right
a
now
good
with
idea.
everything going on.
Yeah, no, because typically, like, especially if you go to like a big like warehouse type of store, you know,
right?
They're going to be in like big boxes or things like that, and that can help you save money, like portioning them out yourself. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. Oh boy. All right. So if you were going to make just a fun meal where the child does not like vegetables, likes fruit, some protein, some meats are okay. What, do you have like a fun meal? Like, you know, like McDonald's has the fun meal?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you like plan a fun meal for us? Just something that's like almost every kid on the planet's gonna like be excited about this meal.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, let's go. This is going to be a brainstorming session.
Yes.
So I'll use my goddaughter as an example. She did not like really any meat when she was like the 2 to 4 or 5 year old. She'd really only eat chicken. So I'll use chicken as the protein because that comes to mind. So you can bake a chicken breast or do something like that. You said the kid likes fruit, but not really vegetables.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes with kids, you can get really exotic. Other times you need to be simple, right? The biggest thing with kids when you're trying to get them to eat vegetables and they just straight up won't do it, is getting creative about how to kind of hide a vegetable in the meal, right? So a really easy example of this. Everybody generally likes mashed potatoes, right?
Yeah, it's a comfort
I would say
food.
so.
Yeah.
And
probably.
kids generally like it.
Yeah.
So an easy way, instead of completely swapping out mashed potatoes for maybe mashed cauliflower, is instead you still have the mashed potatoes, but you steam some cauliflower, blend it up, mash it up, and mix it in with the mashed potatoes. So the texture of the potatoes are still there, but you're adding in that cauliflower, which is a little bit more nutrient dense than just like a white potato, right? So a simple meal would be bake some chicken breast, have that mashed potato, mashed cauliflower, like a little section, and that's a super easy way, super simple meal. I would also add something like green with color, like green beans or something like that. But again, if the kid's really picky and they don't want something like that, you can always make maybe like a sauce for the chicken or something like that incorporates, like, you can make a pesto. Pesto incorporates things like spinach, parsley, basil, that type of stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. What time is it?
It sounds like it's a great meal for the whole family.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Lizzie, do you have any other tips or anything else that you could share on these subjects with our viewers today?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, like just to reiterate what I've already said, is making it fun for kids. So with water, if you're going to add fruit and they're interested in that, letting them choose the fruit, getting interactive. Another simple way is just go let them pick out a really fun water bottle that either has like their favorite TV character or like superhero or something like that. And then even as an adult, like if I buy something new, even a water bottle, I want to use it as soon as I get home. So I like to think that's still the little kid in me. So something like that, or having fun straws, fun cups at home, that can be really fun for the kids too. And as far as cooking and encouraging them to eat healthy, we as the adults set the example for our children, and they are very formative, right? So they pay attention to what we're doing. So just making the choice to choose vegetables as your snack or fruits as your snack, loading up your plate with vegetables at mealtime, getting kids involved in like the cooking process and the shopping process too. It gives them like this sense of they're getting a choice. They get some type of freedom in it, you know, and they're helping make choices around the house. That can be really fun too. And then finally, just don't give up and don't get discouraged. Like we said, kids change their mind constantly, day in and day out. So
true.
Yes, if you try one thing and they don't like it, bring it back around in a couple weeks or a month and they might like it. So just keep trying with them. And some studies say that it takes up to like 10 times of introducing something for it to actually, for it to actually take hold in a child and for them to kind of accept it and start implementing it and choosing that. So just don't give up.
Okay, well, we won't. We won't give up. We'll keep plugging ahead. And I just want to thank you again for joining us for this segment today. And for you folks in Dallas and out there on our Facebook group, remember, when you wake up, get wealthy. I'm Terri Arends, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Lizzie. Bye-bye.